Welcome to Money in the Air, the music podcast about neighboring rights, the royalties you earn from the public performance of your recordings and the business of music in general. Brought to you by IFR, the International Association for Artists and Rights Holders. I'm Andrew, a royalty consultant helping artists to collect on their value.
Hi, I'm Gina Deacon. I work for Absolute Rights Management and I work with record labels and artists to ensure we claim the royalty income due to them.
I'm Stacey Haber and I'm from Inside Baseball Music Publishing.
Hi, I'm Tanya Oliveira. I work for Transparence Entertainment Group. I focus on World ex-USA neighbouring rights on the performer side and rights holder side.
Hey, welcome back to Money in the Air, the neighboring rights podcast brought to you by IFR, the International Association for Artists and Rights Holders. And today we're going to talk about ID. Tanya, you have a real bugbear about this, don't you?
I do. So many performers have expired ID. So when you're setting them up at all the various CMOs around the world, their driver's license or their passport is a year out of date, maybe way more than a year out of date. And the CMOs, they will not accept it. They push back. And I know it can take time to renew your ID. And especially in COVID times when traveling is difficult, why bother renewing your passport? But it's so important because you literally reach this roadblock and you can't get past it. And every CMO is the same. Also, signatures not matching is an issue.
I had that recently where we did e-signatures on the document, and of course it didn't match the passport signature, so we had to do it all over again.
I encounter that every single day. So all the performers out there and their reps that are listening, sure that the performer is referring to their ID when they're signing all the documents, because of course over the years your signature can change, and if you get married you change your name. I get it. So it's got to be the same because some are wildly different, so you understand why the CMOs are pushing back. They're not trying to be pedantic. They're just like, this is not the same, and it's expired.
With musicians who you start off when they're young, when they're teenagers, and by the time they want to join a CMO, they're in their 20s. Of course, the signature is not going to match. They're adults now. So yeah, those are lovely things to talk about before the application. So easy to get caught out and then delay it unnecessarily.
Oh yeah, it causes big delays, definitely. So yeah, it's well worth keeping your ID up to date and just referring to it when you sign all the paperwork. And also, if you submit your driver's license, make sure the address matches the address you put on your CMO paperwork, because again, that's got to match. They'll push back and say, well, the address that you wrote down is your residential address. It's a different country to your, driver's license. Then you have to explain, it's an old license. They've since moved. No, it doesn't match for them.
And if you think about it, giving the CMOs a break a little bit, they don't want to pay the wrong person. They don't want to give somebody else your money. So why would they give you somebody else's money? You have to prove you're you.
Yeah, they're trying to help. They're following their procedures, and it's not difficult. It just, you've got to get your performers motivated to do this.
But this is stuff they need to learn how to do in life routinely. This drives that lesson home. Andrew, what's it like in the States?
You definitely want to have all of this stuff when registering with various royalty sources, not just Sound Exchange, because we're going digital now. So there's a lot less paper, which involves sometimes a notarized signature, but in replacement of that, they want the most up-to-date identification. So it's just like another measure, because in absence of physical paperwork, your driver's license, your passport will help to substantiate who you are.
And that's lovely that's one thing that's consistent throughout the world.
It is, yes, consistent throughout the world. That's right, having up-to-date valid ID, in date, signed, because so many people own passports and they haven't signed that signature page. And yes, most CMOs will push back again and say, well, it's not signed.
Yeah, that doesn't count if it's not signed. I mean, it's not even a valid passport. I'm with you. Well, that's good. This was a really important, vital episode. Anything else to add before we say goodbye to the lovely listeners?
Sign your passports.
Thank you so much for listening, guys. Remember, go to www.ifr.co.uk and hit that Join Now button and sign up for the newsletter. And we'll see you next week. Take care. Bye, guys.